Welcome back, everybody, and welcome. I think today we got a great show for you. It's going to be something a little different. Really, it's going to be my journey from a year ago when I was a 51-year-old dum-dum who quit his job and went full-time on YouTube, never ever touching a camera, never ever producing a video, never dealing with anything in relation to the entertainment industry at all. So we are now monetized, and I'm going to tell you all the lessons that I've learned along the year, all the things that we did right, all the things that we did wrong, and how we eventually got monetized. And let me tell you, it doesn't take a year. You could probably knock it out in a couple of weeks, even a month or two at the latest, if you come up with a good plan on what you're doing. So like my shop teacher used to say, here's my five things that you should know to start a YouTube channel or a business, or I think any endeavor. So the first one is, if you're starting a business or starting anything, is you got to be committed. One of the ways for me to get committed was to quit my job and pursue it as a full-time gig. I don't think that's right for everyone. I don't think that is right, frankly, even for me. It's certainly been a struggle, and I've wasted a lot of money and went through a lot of different situations. We've hired people, we've fired people, We've had all kinds of issues along the way in order to facilitate this. And frankly, we're still not profitable, but we are certainly on the road to get there. And it was important for me because I knew I wouldn't take it seriously if I didn't commit to it, if I didn't fully commit full time to this endeavor. So what that meant was at 51 years old, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to pursue this goal. This is where you really start to narrow your focus on what you're doing, because, the first thing that you do, at least I do when I create a business plan, is to create a mission statement and write it down. Make a mission statement. I mean, you could come up with 10 things that you are about and your 10 goals, all the endeavors I want to do. This is where I want to be. This is what I want my life to be about. And this is what kind of values and stuff that I want to establish. And frankly, you can put it into ChatGPT, and it'll give you a good outline on what a mission statement is. When you get that mission statement, you need to take that thing and you need to post it in your room, post it in your bathroom, post it in your office. I've got mine right here. It's hangs right off my computer because it's something you really want to read every day, because that's going to be the direction in which you want to go. So the next item on the list is your budget. How much money do you have? It should not only include the money that you have, it also should include if you're taking time away from your job, the money that you're going to lose, or if you're going in full time, how much you have to pay yourself in order for you to sustain your life. So get your budget. Be very honest about your budget. You're usually going to be spending a lot more than you're going to be taking in. So in the case of like a YouTube channel, you're going to need equipment, you're going to need cameras, you're going to need all the sound equipment. If you're going to do a podcast, you're going to probably want to create a studio. You're going to have to really define all those things that you're going to need in order for you to perform at the level at a high professional, high quality level. Some people are able to start their channel out of the car. They just simply get their iPhone, stick it on a phone mount, and sit in their car and talk. And so it can be done at a very low cost, and there's some very successful people who have done that. That all comes into your mission, but in order for you to start anything, you need to know how much does it cost, what can I afford, and how do I start it today? If you have a really great product, that return might be much faster than what you think, or much faster than what it would take for somebody else because of the type of product they're producing. This is all very basic stuff. So one of the things I think you have to determine very early when you're creating a YouTube channel or even any business is, what are the roles that you are going to do? So if you're using the woodworking role, if you are the craftsman who is going to be producing the furniture, doing all the layout, so that's a task in and of itself. Are you someone who's going to be doing all the filming? So you're going to be the one setting up the cameras, making sure everything's in focus, checking the sound quality, ensuring the shot is captured, it's framed right, making sure the lighting is all good. So if you're going to be doing the filmmaking, that's another task. They're separate from each other. Are you going to be someone who's going to be doing the editing? So are you going to be getting all that material after shooting all day? You're going to take that footage and start to edit it and make it coherent and this is really where a lot of the art of making it entertaining comes in, and you're going to be doing the illustration of that, which might include you doing some audio. So you might have to pull off and do, just strictly audio or an overlay of audio explaining the task that you're doing. So again, you're starting to see all this stuff. You're starting to getting a lot of work in order to accomplish that single goal, and just cost if you don't have a lot of money to invest into it. But it's something that you'll probably very quickly go, man, I wish I had 3 or 4 cameras so I could capture this in 4 ways. Where this also gets complicated is now you start to head into the editing side. Now you have 4 cameras of different shots that are going to have to be, it's going to have to be downloaded. It's going to have to be put into your editing software, and then you're going to have to pull out the shots that you want. All this stuff takes time. It all takes effort. You're going to have downloading times that are going to be mixed in there, and you need to take that into account, because sometimes, if you've got several hours of footage, it might take 4 hours sometimes to download and get it processed and get it in your computer, depending on the systems that you have. So everything that you do has consequences on the back side. With all that said, I'm trying to get down to 4 points. So first off is, can I do the editing? Is that a role that I could do? I could learn the role, but that might take time, and that might take effort, and that might take resources that might be better spent producing. Same with camera, doing all the camera work. Is that something that you could do, or is that something you could sub out in order for you to produce something that has high quality? And that's and I can tell you, I've produced a lot of crappy stuff, and it's a struggle. It's a struggle to do it all yourself. So, I have an editor because I can't do the editing. I can't do the editing, do the shot, create the stories, do all the setup, go to the locations, and produce a video in a reasonable amount of time. And the editor, just want to say one other thing, the other reason I can't do that is because it takes a really immense amount of skill to be an editor. It takes a very much a patient person, somebody who could get into the details, who could pull all the stuff out, who could really think about how the shot's being framed. That person has to be bought into the story, what the story that you're producing. There's a lot of discussion that you'll have in order to get what's in your mind, and how you shot it, why you shot it the way you did, and get that over to the other editor. That's a person, is not somebody that you're gonna just hire some guy off the street. The person that has to be in that role has to be a very high quality, competent, capable person. That is a true profession, and it's an art. Again, you can take all these roles on, but every time you take one of these roles on, you got to know that you're spending less and less time, producing furniture and making that engaging show. So now you really want to start grounding in on who your customer is, because your customer might not need a high quality video in order to get the information that it needs from you. You could spend hours and hours and hours playing with the lighting, checking to make sure your shots are right, doing multiple different shots. But at the end of the day, somebody else might come in and just see a guy just ripping something through, but the guy explaining the shot is saying, okay, this is how you set up your saw, this is the depth of the blade, this is all the details, and he might being a voice overlay, doing a better job of giving that customer the information that he or she is interested in. The people who are watching those videos don't need an elaborate set. They don't need a giant facility in order for them to get their message out. They're getting it out with their iPhone in a car, and they're being successful doing so. That's knowing their customer. They know their customer is not that concerned about the location, the backdrop. They're not concerned about how professional it looks. They're more concerned about the information that they're getting from that individual. One of the biggest things that I think we've learned on YouTube is, who are we selling to? This goes to what types of tags that you're putting in, what's your video about, making sure that the customers that would be most interested in what you're producing are the ones that are seeing your video. Because if I'm producing a video on psychology, randomly sticking it out there, and it gets in front of the eyeballs of somebody who's interested in car reviews, that guy is just going to scale right by my video, and I could be producing the best video in the world. I'm just in front of the wrong audience. YouTube there's a lot of great resources on YouTube in order to determine what audience that your product should be in front of, and how to determine that and how to pursue those goals. So use those resources. As far as ways to connect with a customer, I spend probably about a good 4 to 5 hours every week just in research, just researching new products, new systems. How can we make our product better, and how can we make the stuff that we're producing more entertaining, engaging, and simply better, just simply better visually, audio, using better audio, whatever. We are constantly trying to up our game. Investigate, research. You should always be in those spaces. And the final thing that I want to just drive home, because it's probably the hardest one to get really nailed down, is how much time do you really have? It's easy to say, I'm going to go and pursue this goal, and I'm going to be the best YouTuber. I'm going to make the best videos. I have all these great ways of thinking how I'm going to shoot the thing, editing. I've just got all these wonderful ideas. Time is the thing that stops you from accomplishing some of those, because there's a lot of times where you just have to get, that you're spent too much time in the details, and you've just got to get the product out. Breaking it down, this is the amount of time that I have to shoot the video. This is the amount of time that I have to edit the video. This is the amount of time I have to promote the video, or whatever the case is, because you have to really set that time aside, and then you have to be very, very clear on your intentions during that time. So one of the ways to be efficient is to spend that upfront time of saying, okay, we created the story. Here's the main objectives of the story. We created a shoot list, so we're going to shoot this story using these moments. So we're going to create a shoot list where we have a transcript that I'm going to be spending time reading and perfecting, and being able to commit to in the front half. All of these things will save you time on the shoot side, but again, they also take time. So understanding the amount of time that you really have, because there's always going to be interruptions in your day, the amount of time that it's going to actually take, and then what you could actually commit to. Because I'm a very much a overcommitter. I overcommit all the time, almost every single day. It's a real struggle of mine. It's something that I struggle with everything that I do. I think it's going to be much easier than it actually is, and then I go off, say yes, I could do this, and I typically can't. So it's been one of my biggest struggles in life is to not overcommit. So now, if I think something is going to take 4 hours, I typically say it's going to take 8 hours. It's better to undercommit and overdeliver than it is to overcommit and underdeliver. And underdelivering is something that I've done so many times, and it's not a great place to be. It's not an enjoyable place to be. It's not great to come to somebody and say, yeah, I'm going to need some more time. I'm struggling to get this done. It'd be great to just kind of wander through it all, but in order for you to be successful and to actually produce a video in a short amount of time, it's going to take a lot of intentions. It's going to take a lot of time, understanding the time that you have and how best to use it. It's very easy to go, well, I need 4 cameras, I need lighting, I need all of these things in order to produce the video that I want. That's where you have to be disciplined and ask yourself, well, does the story need this? Does the subject need this? Do I need all this equipment, or can I just do this with a couple of action cameras, which are going to be much cheaper than, like a Lumix GH5 or 6 or 7? And that's why telling your story is the most important thing, and not necessarily the visual side of that. Because ultimately, if you could get your point across with a couple of action cameras versus, buying some $2,000 or $3,000 high production camera, then you not only saved yourself a lot of money, but you're also saved yourself a lot of effort and setup time. Action cameras are great because they just kind of point and shoot. They don't take a lot of setup. And that might be all that you need in order to produce that video. But lots of times it takes discipline, because you're going to have a lot of people selling you stuff, and there's going to be a lot of people that says to take your product to the next level, you need to buy this, you need to film it on this, you need to have this kind of level of production. And I've bought way too much equipment that I typically don't even use. I bought too much stuff, and it was a total waste of money. It's stuff that I don't absolutely need. And frankly, I could have done it with everything that I produced that got a lot of views was done on action cameras versus, high quality equipment. So be disciplined. Make sure you understand what tools that you actually need in order to accomplish the job. One of the things that we used to say in construction, you have a lot of people who want easy, not efficient. And they're looking for something they're usually asking you to buy a tool because they want their life to be easier, but that tool doesn't make them more efficient. And at the end of the day, if you're spending money on easy, you're usually not getting a lot of return on it. All you're getting, if you're spending money on something that's going to make them more efficient, that is something that you're going to get time. Not only you get the time, they spent less time producing it, but that time gets allocated for something else. So now you're going to actually make more money or be able to produce more. One of the things that happens when you're starting a channel, this has certainly happened to me, this is really where we got off track, is we had a lot of voices telling us a lot of different ways to do things. I got off my mission. I allowed too many people around me to start throwing their ideas, what they think is going to be successful in YouTube. I stopped caring about my mission. I started caring more about success. Without a quality product, you will never be successful on any platform. So if your goal is success, I think your intentions are in the wrong place. Your goal should be, I'm producing a product that adds value to people's lives, and hope that in time that product that I believe that adds value to somebody's lives, people will start paying me for and start doing things in order to make sure that this product could stay available to them. And so they'll invest into you or promote you or whatever it takes in order for them to have access to that product. If you're saying, I just want to find a way to be successful, you're going to sell yourself down every single road that comes around, because everything sounds magical, it sounds easy, and it sounds like this is the next way. This is the way that you're gonna be successful on YouTube, and you're gonna try a bunch of different things, and you're gonna realize very quickly that the reason why none of those things are successful is because you don't care about them. You're just pursuing them because you believe they might lead you to success. What you're missing is, if you're not pursuing something because you like it or love it or you think it makes it valuable to someone else, you will never be successful. Even if you find some forms of success in it, you will personally never be successful emotionally, mentally, and financially, because it's something that you just don't want to do. When we started this organization, we had a mission, everything was good, we were on the path, and we allowed all these different voices come in to say, well, that won't be successful, this is what you need to do to be successful. And we got off the path, we started pursuing success and not pursuing a goal, and it completely fell apart. And the minute we went back to here's our mission, this is what we wanted to do originally, the minute we went back and did that and went through these steps, we went from someone who was working for a year, never really got anywhere, and then restructured everything, went back to what we originally were planning on doing it. Now we have a better idea how to use these tools, and we were able to basically start over and be monetized in 2 months. Choose your passion. Choose the thing that is making the best offer to not only customers but the world around you. Pursue that with your passion. Don't pursue success. Success will come with a good product. One of the other things that we certainly learned on our side, and this goes to our biggest mistake, is we did a lot of promotions and we were expecting the promotions. I was thinking of it more as like a billboard. I'm gonna get this billboard. We're gonna put our face on this billboard so people see what we're doing, and we're gonna be promoting all our videos and trying to basically buy our subscriptions, buy all this stuff. And we wasted thousands of dollars in doing that. At one point, we had over 62,000 subscribers, but none of the people that were subscribing, first off, I don't even know how many of those people were real. I'm still very skeptical about the whole program in general, but the people, they weren't buying into what we were selling. The system is what promoted us, and the system got us found ways to fulfill on what we asked it to do, was get us subscribers. It didn't find people who were interested in our product. And I think a lot of that was bots. I think there's a lot of mysterious stuff to that. But what really made it damaging to us is we had a subscriber base that wasn't engaged in our product. So yes, you could say, oh, look at all the subscribers we got. But when the algorithm came by and looked at it and says, you've got 62,000 subscribers, but only 1,500 of them are checking in on what you're producing every time you release a video, and only 400 of them are watching it. So, from the algorithm side, it's like, well, nobody likes your stuff, man. We spent all this time and money and effort paying for promotions when we should have been just spending that time, money, and effort into producing a better video, writing, shooting, and making that video more engaging, entertaining, and inspiring. There are a lot of useful tools out there too, things like Video IQ that could help you, pursue the people and your customers versus trying to do promotions and other things on YouTube. One of our other big mistakes is, we were trying to do a store, we were trying to do multiple channels, we're going to have multiple topics, we're going to have other creators that we're going to have on our channel, and we were going to try to promote it in several different ways. We're going to just do all this different content that wasn't related to one specific thing. When you do that, not saying that it's not a thing that you should pursue in the future, but it all takes amount of time and resources in order to do. Again, what you end up doing, at least certainly what I ended up doing, is doing a bad job on all the products that we were producing, a bad job on all the systems that we had in place, from our website to our store to all of that. I did every single one of them poorly because I didn't have enough time to focus on each one as an individual, unique thing. It doesn't mean you can't do that in the future, but in the future you might have better resources, better people to put in place in order to hold those positions. When you're trying to do that all yourself and try to produce quality videos, then everything starts to suffer because you can't do one product at a very high quality that people are engaged in. You're certainly not going to be able to do 10 of them. So be very careful what you expand into. Know when to expand. This kind of heads into what's next for us. We're going from, bro to pro. I will say, we haven't produced some of the best stuff in the past. We are starting to produce better quality videos, and we're going from this bro who just grabbed a camera to a pro. This is who I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to do. This is the product that I'm going to be producing. And I am every day, going back to the beginning, putting on my shoes, getting dressed. I'm coming into the room with my full intention of delivering a high quality video that's entertaining, engaging, and inspiring. I am doing that every single day. There's days I'm going to achieve those goals. There's days that I'm not going to achieve those goals, but I am showing up to do so. I'm showing up to be a professional and make this my profession. I am not taking it lightly. I'm not doing this. This is not something I'm going to, just kind of do on a whim. This is a serious business, and I am serious about it. I hope this helped you. I hope this is something that you guys find entertaining, and I certainly hope you guys engage with our products here in the future. It's something that we very much love, and we're very passionate about what we are doing, and really, really excited about the products that we will be producing in the future, and our future video and our future content. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I cannot tell you how excited I am to have the privilege to do this and to live in a place in where this opportunity exists. And same that, think about the time that I live in versus somebody just 70, 60 years ago would never even think this would be possible. So just so thankful, so appreciative of you. I'm so appreciative of the role that I'm in. And thank you again for joining us. And I hope that you found this informative and useful. With that said, please like and subscribe to what we are doing. And thanks again for watching.